Hello everybody and welcome back to Expert Examiner IELTS. My name is Glyn and in this video we're going to do another writing check. And surprise, surprise, it's another writing task too. So we start as always by checking out the question, looking at the question, reading it once, reading it twice, reading it 3 times, understanding the question fully, thinking about our structure, and then we will take a look at the candidate's writing. Okay, so some people believe that blah, 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 blah. Others think that blah, 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 blah. Discuss both these views and give your opinion. So very typical, classic IELTS essay question. Some people believe that blah, 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 blah. Others think that opposite opinion. Your task is to discuss both of these views and give your opinion. So what is the topic up for discussion? The rapid advancement of technology. So this rapid advancement of technology, what is it doing? It is making people more isolated. That's number one, more isolated. And less sociable. Okay, more isolated and less sociable. Pretty much the same thing. We don't need to worry about covering both of those things. It's the same thing. More isolated, less sociable. Fine. Others think that technology has improved communication. And brought people closer together. So again, those things are very, very closely linked. Cool. So what do I want from the candidate? Introduction, pretty simple. A little bit of background information about the subject, which is, the rapid advancement of technology and how it affects people, people becoming more or less sociable, people improving or making the communication worse. Some reference to the question, some reference to this divide, that there are some people on team A and some people on team B. And of course, in the introduction, I'd like to see a thesis statement. I'd like to say this essay will explore, both positions. And also, I'd like to see what the candidate's opinion is in the introduction. I don't need to know why the candidate believes their opinion. I don't need an explanation of their position in the introduction, but I would like to know what the candidate's opinion is. I'd like to know. Anyway, so first thing, we want... Oh, sorry. And then in body paragraph 1, of course, we explain why some people think that technology makes people more isolated and less sociable. And in body paragraph 2, we want to know why some people think that technology has improved communication and brought people closer together. And in the conclusion, we want a short summary of those ideas and an explanation of the candidate's position. Cool. So state the position in the introduction and explain the position, the personal opinion in the conclusion. But okay, classic, typical, normal IELTS question. Recently, there seem to be fewer and fewer of these questions. Discuss both views and give your opinion. I'd like to see some research into the question types in IELTS, but nowadays they tend to go for something, I don't know, like a direct question or advantages outweighing the disadvantages, those type of questions. It's just a trend, but okay. So let's have a look at the candidate's writing first of all. How many paragraphs? Paragraph 1, cool. Paragraph 2 with on the one hand, cool. Paragraph 2 with on the other hand, good. And conclusion with in my opinion, cool. Maybe, I'd like in conclusion as the signposting language for the conclusion, but okay. 4 paragraphs, length looks okay. It's just over 250 words, I guess. Let's see, word count, 265. Okay, you have, it's okay. 265 is fine. Okay, so let's see if we get what I'm hoping for in the introduction. In today's society, I like this way to start, but you have to put that space after the comma. Today's society, comma, and then we have the word immediately. You have to put the space after the comma. In today's society, that's good. That's a good way to start. It shows that we're speaking about things in general. Technology's unpart. Is that just a typo from the candidate? I don't know, but you should find this mistake yourself. And then vowel sounds. Elephant, apple, Indian, I don't know, thinking of a word with you, an umbrella. Cool. Not unpart. That's very basic. Okay, technology is a part of our daily lives. Full stop and then no space. So you have to get that punctuation right. Just put the little space after the full stop. Put the little space after the comma. You see? Space. Space. Easy to fix yourself. Okay. Some people believe. Now, we've misspelt believe. It's one of the things that drives me crazy. Not when candidates misspell words. I misspell words. Everyone misspells words. When candidates misspell words that are in the question. For me, this is unforgivable. This is, to me, a sign that the candidate doesn't really care about their IELTS. You know, they don't really care. They're not worried about it. They're taking IELTS maybe because their parents said take IELTS or because for some reason they're taking it. But to me, this is a huge sign that the candidate really doesn't care, that they can misspell a word that is in the question. There's no real reason why they should do that apart from the candidate isn't attentive or the candidate is lazy or maybe the candidate has, something like dyslexia or something like a neurological problem. Otherwise, there's no reason why, the word believe is here. As a teacher, it drives me crazy. As an examiner, it doesn't matter too much. Okay. Some believe that technology is lead. So this is the incorrect use of present simple. The verb to be, present simple in English is tricky. When should we use the verb to be? Like I am happy, I am a teacher, I am at home, but not I am play football. Right? That's a difficult thing for lower level learners to get around. But if we're taking IELTS, we shouldn't be elementary students. And this is an elementary mistake. Technology is leads to a indolent. So we've had un part and now a indolent. And also we have activities, which is plural. So we don't use a or un with plural nouns. So that's a problem. And also, if a was correct, then we should use unindolent. Okay. I'm not even sure of the word indolent, actually. I guess it means something like lazy. I don't really believe that the candidate knows the word indolent. From context, I guess it means lazy. I know that it's a word. I've seen it before, but I couldn't give you a working definition for indolent. It's not in my regular communicative repertoire. So I think the candidate has stole this word from somewhere else, and that's okay. While you're preparing, you should use the internet to find words and things like this. But I think, if you want a real, honest measurement of your writing level, you should write this in test conditions, not finding words online. So indolent and less social activities. Comma, should be a comma here, but there's no comma. But I do like this use of while. So, the use of while is good. While others believe, again, we have a misspelling with believe, it's in the question. It referring to technology, okay, that makes absolute sense, that's fine. It has improved, cool, we have present perfect, cool. But connectivity, I don't like the use of connectivity when talking about people. And I think connectivity by itself without an explanation isn't really clear that you're talking about, people being more interconnected. So connectivity is just a strange word choice here. Okay, there's no thesis statement, but at least we get to see the candidate's position. In my opinion, technology can lead to isolation when misused, comma, good, but we need that space again. But overall, it improved. Why do we have a capital letter with it? We don't use capital letters after commas, so this is a mistake. And instead of it improved, it has improved is more appropriate here. It has improved communication and, okay, it has improved communication and structures. Structures is in noun or verb? Communication and structures. But if it's a noun, has improved communication and structures, then what is this social bond? If structures is a verb, then what is it connected to? Oh, it improved and maybe it structures social bonds. But again, I'm not quite sure what you mean when you say structures social bond. It's not immediately clear. So, introduction, there is an attempt at giving background information about the subject. We haven't had a thesis statement that, the essay will explore both sides, okay? We do see the candidate's position, great. Candidate's language is a little bit weak, but let's move on to body paragraph 1. Hopefully in body paragraph 1, we have an exploration of how technology makes people more isolated and less sociable. Let's see if that's what we get. On the one hand, and again, this is the last time I will point it out, but after commas and full stops, we need a space. We need to hit that space button. But I'm not going to point it out anymore. When I see it in the rest of the text, I will not say. But these expressions, these pieces of signposting language, it's so easy to just memorize these on the one hand. You don't need to, they are frozen expressions. They never change. Some expressions, they change a little bit, like to take my mind off my problems. Oh, I take my mind off my problems, or you take your mind, or I have taken my mind off my problems. Those things are semi-fixed expressions, and, that could be difficult to remember. But on one hand, this is a frozen, fully fixed expression. We should just learn them by heart, on the one hand. Okay, critics argue. Critics of what? It's really not clear what you mean here, critics argue. The technology, especially social media and smartphones, comma, should be a comma, can lead to social isolation. Critics, but is that critics of technology maybe? But saying critics, it's not enough. Many people spend too much time on their devices, comma, even in social meetings in general, even in social meetings, family meetings, or gathering friends. So how is that different to social meetings, gathering friends, or a gathering of friends maybe, or gatherings of friends, or I don't know. That's an odd thing to add. Okay, so why does it make us, let's keep that question in mind. How does technology lead us to become more socially isolated? Well, candidate says people spend too much time on their devices in social meetings. Oh, sorry, I missed a whole line here. Even in the social meeting, which can reduce face-to-face interaction. Well, that doesn't make sense, because you're saying that at social meetings, which are face-to-face interactions, we've spelt interaction incorrectly. And again, to me, this just seems like candidate isn't very attentive, because I'm sure the candidate knows it's not interaction, but it's interaction. But the candidate just hasn't checked their work. Again, candidate is inattentive. Maybe candidate just doesn't care about their IELTS so much. It's an obvious mistake to fix. Candidate just hasn't fixed it. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah, that doesn't really make sense, that they become more socially isolated because at social meetings it reduces the face-to-face interaction if they use their phone. Well, social meetings are face-to-face interactions. Okay. For instance, during the family meeting or gathering friends, comma, people with a capital P. Again, capitalization, this is just the most fundamental basic rules of English, when we use capital letters and when we don't. You should know this. If you're taking IELTS, you really should know how to use capital letters. People can focus on their phone instead of making in meaningful conversations. Not making in. Taking part in, maybe. Okay, there's a basic idea and development there. If you're on your phone when you're meeting with friends and you're looking at your phone, then this stops you from taking part in those meaningful conversations. Cool. I like your idea. I do like your idea. This behavior can weaken relationships. I agree. And I like this use of weaken. Cool. People prefer to play online game. Okay, I don't think this is really well connected. You've just added a new sentence here. People prefer to play online games than the social activities such as running. Running isn't usually a social activity. It's usually something people do on their own. And I don't see how this is really connected to the previous part. So we have poor cohesion here. You know, you might say additionally, just a nice little word like additionally or furthermore. That helps the reader to understand that you're moving on to a new point, but we don't get that cohesive device here. So people prefer to play online games than doing social activities such as running. Again, I'm not sure that running is really a social activity. Walking is kind of a mix, I guess, or hanging out. I like hang out, but hanging out with friends. That brings health problem, just one. If it's just one, a health problem. If it's multiple, then health problems. And this idea is far too simplistic. The preference to play online games brings health problems like obesity and a broken social life. That's not academic persuasion there. It's far too simplistic. We have to soften the language. This can sometimes lead to, that's fine. This occasionally, in some people, brings health problems or can bring health problems. So we need that hedging language to say not always, but in some situations. And we don't have that style here. So there's no real awareness of style, of academic style. But okay, ideas are relatively straightforward. I'm reasonably well informed. Task response is doing okay. So paragraph 2, I'm hoping now to hear about how technology has improved communication and brought people closer together. On the other hand, finally we get this the. Great. On the other hand, and we get the space between after the comma. Okay, supporters believe, misspelled believe. That's the third time he's misspelled or she's misspelled believe. I think it's a he. Believe that technology has brought people closer and allowed people to make not a new friends, but just to make new friends, not a new friends. A is singular. It means one. You can't say one friends. I don't know how many times I have to say it on this channel. The most common mistake we see from candidates is that candidates don't know how to use singular and plural nouns. Very, very basic and quite easy concept to understand. Uncountable nouns, that can become tricky. Uncountable singular, uncountable plural, I understand that can become a problem. But basic nouns like friend, that's basic singular countable nouns like friend or plural nouns, friends. We really should know how articles work with those. But okay. Regardless of distance. I agree. I think that's a fair point. Social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook provide peplo. Again, candidate doesn't really care about their IELTS because they write peplo. They know how to write people because they've written people here. Look, they had the word people. Candidate knows how to write people. People is written here. People is written here correctly. And then suddenly here, people. You have to make this a part of your IELTS writing. You should be the first person to check your writing. The examiner should not be the first person to check your writing. You must be the first person to check your writing, and you have to find those little mistakes. Okay. Twitter and Facebook provide two people. Provide two people who connect with friend. No idea what that means. To provide to somebody connect with friend. Or family members who... Okay, so this is a very strange bit of grammar. Or family members who lived. Why in the past lived? Why not in the present live? Surely it's about friends who live there in general, no? I don't know why we're talking about the past. Moreover, good bit of signposting language, nice. Such as video platforms. No. We need a noun. We need a subject here. Moreover, and then we need the subject. Such as can't be the subject. Video platforms such as Zoom and Skype, that's fine. So just take the such as out and we're doing okay, I think. Video platforms like Zoom and Skype provide, not provides, because we're talking about two of those platforms, provide to making video, not sure what that means. Provide to making, again, strange construction. Conference, okay, this misspelling, absolutely fine. I have no problem with this misspelled word. Candidate doesn't know how to write conference. It's strange. Sometimes it's E-N-C-E in English. Sometimes it's A-N-C-E. It's a problem. It happens. So, it's okay to make this spelling mistake. It's not okay to make a misspelling with believe because it's in the question, but it's okay to use misspelling with conference. That's fine. Even if, even when they are far away. So we're missing that conjunction, if or when they are far away. Furthermore, now we've gone back to not using spacing. Furthermore, but I don't like this moreover sentence, furthermore sentence. For me, that's a case of mechanical, cohesion. Moreover sentence, furthermore sentence. I watched a video by, I don't know, was it Ross IELTS Academy or something, and they were talking about mechanical cohesion, and they just don't understand what mechanical cohesion is, unfortunately. But this is an example of mechanical cohesion. Moreover, furthermore, that is mechanical. Anyway, never mind. We all make mistakes. It's okay. Technology has enabled people to, I love this, enabled people to, that's very good, to dorm online. No idea what dorm online communities, no idea what that is. Dorm online communities based on their hobbies and interests, plural. I don't know, is dorm some type of fandom language? Maybe it's new modern fandom language. I know I saw the word ship recently. Like I was really shipping for those people about a Korean show. I had no idea what it meant. Didn't realize it was a new bit of language. There we go. Okay, so kind of get the idea. It's not very well explained, but the candidate is saying social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook lets you make friends and contact people all over the world, and also places like Zoom and Skype help you to have those like conference calls. Great. And also there's something about these online communities which is less explained. Not very well explained, but the idea is clear. Not very well developed, but the idea is clear. So I think overall, we're looking at 6 for task response because, ideas are clear, but just a bit underdeveloped. In my opinion, I want in conclusion here, technology leads to isolation when people misused in the past. And misused what? Misuse or use is a transitive verb. It means we must use an object, misuse something. Leads to isolation when people misuse it. Full stop, however. So candidate doesn't really know how to use however. However, generally it provide. We have a capital letter on it, not sure why, and we're missing this S. It provides a change to communicate new people in the world. I have no idea what that means. It provide a change to communicate new people in the world. I can make no sense of this at all. It cannot be denied that technology supports the community increasing the life standard with a T. Life standards? Community. So they're looking for a reflective comment here, which is nice style. They're looking for that reflective comment. It cannot be denied that technology supports the community, maybe comma, supports the community, comma, increasing the life standards. Let's make that red too. Standards of living, maybe, not life standards, increasing the excuse me, standards of living of society wherever we live. Okay, but we're not really talking about the living standards, are we? We're talking about whether technology leads to people being more isolated and less communicative, and less social, or not. So that reflective comment isn't really on point. But okay, task response. I think there is enough. I think there are enough ideas that are clear enough to award the 6. Coherence and cohesion. Nice paragraph structure, so good stuff for that. But, some parts are just purely poorly connected. Some misuses of words like however. There's a bit of mechanical stuff with furthermore and moreover, and also the coherence breaks down due to lack of language skills at times. So coherence and cohesion, I think, is 5. I think grammar is probably a 4. I think it really, at some points, at some parts, it really puts a strain on the reader. The reader really struggles to understand what the candidate is talking about because of that poor grammar. Some good use of vocab, you know, face-to-face interaction, misspelling of interaction. Social bonds is good, but I'm just not quite sure, structure social bonds, what it means. Connectivity is the noun of, like, one of the nouns of connect, but I'm not sure that it's exactly used correctly here. And then there are lots of strange spelling mistakes, lots of strange spelling mistakes, like people, some strange collocation, like provides to making video conference. Really not sure what that is. So I think at times the poor vocab also puts the puts strain on the listener. So lexical resource, I think probably there is enough for a 5 in there. So we get 6,554, and so overall we get the score of 5.0. And I think that is a fair reflection. If I read that without thinking about the criteria, if I just read right through it, I would say, yeah, candidate is probably an intermediate language user with probably pre-intermediate grammar, or maybe even, in some cases, elementary grammar, or at least some gaps or some holes with elementary grammar. But yeah, overall 5.0, intermediate. Bits of advice for the candidate. If you don't care about your IELTS, then you can't expect your teachers, your examiners, or even the people who try to help you online. My role here shouldn't be to tell you, you should spell correctly words like believe and people if they are in the question. I don't want to give you that advice because you know that advice. I don't want to give advice on capital letters, on putting spaces after commas and full stops, about third person s, like it provides. I know not everyone can be good, and we're all in different parts of our language learning, right? Like I speak Russian, my Russian level is quite good, and so I could probably write an IELTS essay in Russian to a fairly decent standard. But if I had to do this in Chinese, I'm also learning Chinese a little bit, not very actively. I couldn't do this. You are miles ahead of me when we're talking about Chinese, but you are a little bit behind me when we're talking about Russian. So it's not a criticism of you, but I wouldn't take a test in Chinese. If I wanted a test to show that I'm B2 or C1 in Chinese, I wouldn't do it because I know that I'm not ready for it. And so if you need a score of 6 or 6.5 in IELTS, my recommendation for you is you are not ready for this yet. You have to improve your general English first. And then once you've improved your general English, basics of grammar and vocabulary, then you can think about, learning your technique. I will say your task response is good and you have clear ideas, and I agree with your ideas. And I think they are, not badly explained, but yeah. So overall, intermediate is my score for this. But one final thing I want to repeat. The first person who checks your writing should always be you. You should always be the first person who looks for those small mistakes, who looks for those typos, who fixes those small problems with punctuation. You should be the first person who checks your language, not me, not your teacher, not anyone else. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now. So I hope you enjoyed that breakdown of this candidate's IELTS writing. If you would like me to check your IELTS writing, or if you would like a free IELTS mock speaking test with feedback, then you can apply for this through my Telegram channel. A link to the Telegram channel is given below. I do 3 writing checks and 3 mock speaking tests with feedback a week. And so you have a chance to be one of those lucky candidates. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now. Have a wonderful evening and see you.